We have an opportunity to talk to a new service, or I guess the CEO of a new service that is now being launched in Germany, called Whatever Media, which is owned by Vivendi. What is interesting is that it's an interesting point in time to talk to Stefan Schulz, because the service just launched. It's still early days, and there's a big question mark where this is heading. While early signs are positive, the question remains, how successful will the service be? So far it looks positive, but we're going to debate it a little bit and hear from Stefan direct from his mouth how he sees the world. So why don't we start by telling us a little bit about Whatever Media and what exactly is the service?
Yes, so Whatever is basically a project that has derived from a strategic, strategic project within Vivendi that, of course, is very, the company is, as opposed to what we heard before, very, used to deliver great services to end users and mainly active in the subscription area, which is pretty well known through World of Warcraft and other companies. And so we have all sat together and inside the group after several other projects we try to do, and we were looking for something that is really new, that is something that we could use personally as well. We would like to, that we feel is missing in our lives, and that's when we start to think about a video service, like an online video service that is absolutely device agnostic and very much end-user centric, because that's what we believe it's all about, to go right into the context in your household, in the context of the content, combine it and connect it with the online world. And we wanted to have and create a very seamless experience that is the most simple to use, because we believe that's what is absolutely necessary in order to succeed in this area. And yes, I guess that we are kind of very relieved that after 2 years of development, it has launched 10 days ago.
Great. Now, for the non-German people in the audience, just so everyone understands what the service is, maybe you can say what is the closest analogy to the service, or the closest, or the most similar service outside of Germany to it, and then also say in what way is it better than that service, because we want to be excited.
Yes. So if you want to take you want to place an analogy here, it's of course the Netflix model comes into your mind first. I think with regards to what the service that we have launched now, what makes it better or what makes it different, I would say, because it's not really our style to say who's better or not, but it's we try to be more a little bit more editorialized in terms of combining not only the recommendations and everything that people are talking about that are automatically generated, but also to include a little bit more social flavor. So you will, in our service, you have access to your friends on Facebook. You see what they're watching. You also get guidance from experts that repackage and make sure that you have, once the machine cannot always give you the best context. So we have people also, creating specials and clustering, filtering and clustering content that is absolutely crucial in our opinion. And of course, what is probably the most significant difference for the moment being is that currently we are like the only service in the world that offers an offline mode. Just like from Spotify, for example, you can take movies and series with you, and especially, of course, on tablets. That's a very crucial one. We believe it's extremely convenient. So you will be able to put certain movies and series into your cache and take them with you, even if you don't have online availability.
So not only you're competing with Unity Media, you're also competing with iTunes. You're taking on both of them. I
think the Unity Media case is something like you were just concluding. In my opinion, from the last 10 days, I can really just support that view that it's absolutely important to have a strong pipe and to get good connectivity. So with regards to that aspect, I think it's not at all a competition. It's something that we could really work very well together. And so So for me, that's okay. And with regards to TVOD, what you're talking about is the transactional part. That's something that I think is always, like in the US, it's a balance between transactional VOD and subscription video on demand. But on the subscription side, to be honest, for a user, it's much more fun because you can just go. You don't have to worry about the cost. You can let your kid go. You can browse all the titles and just go and watch. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
I think that's the next question, because so far, I know you're pretty excited by the results, and ultimately that's kind of the bottom line. It sounds like so far the take-up is great, and you have already tens of thousands of subscribers?
Yes, we have several tens of thousands of subscribers collected in the last 10 days, and we are very well encouraged. And the irony of the situation, just referring to your former question, is that we are extremely successful in the Apple space, because we, as you know probably, we are on Apple TV in Germany, which is a huge exception. We are the only service of this kind to be on Apple TV in Germany. We are very excited, and we love the Apple environment. So the iTunes question is really just it's just a question. No more, nobody can give the answer except for the consumer.
I think what is unique is that you are trying to launch a service in a market that is very well served in terms of content. And historically, subscription television has been challenged because there's so much available on free-to-air television, and yet you manage to create dynamic where people subscribe and want the service. I guess the question is, do you think it's because of the technology or because of the content that you make available ahead of other services?
I think it's a mixture of both, because the technology is absolutely crucial in order to succeed in this business. But at the same time, I strongly believe, my background is really content. I think there is a big misconception around content itself. What is premium, what is not premium? We heard some of the interpretations just before, and I have to say I do not really agree with all what was said. So I think the really, there's always a market for real premium content. In our case, it's long form series and movies. And with regards to the availability, just that it's an availability in a linear way does not at all mean that it's available for anybody that comes late from work, that doesn't meet with their children at the right time, is on the way somewhere, and has a completely different setup of infrastructure. So availability does not mean anything if it doesn't get to you in the way and at the time you want it.
And I think you mentioned to me before the panel, one of the interesting stats is that 90% of the content that you have available already has been watched within the first 10 days at least once, right? So, in other words, most of your content actually has value, right?
Absolutely.
How you see it.
Absolutely. It's absolutely amazing. We've been completely surprised, as you know. The content market it's the most expensive, especially if it comes to the studios and to making production of movies and stuff. So we of course, every service in the world needs to be limited in terms of offer, see how it works, and then with the business intelligence, you pick up momentum afterwards. In our case now, we were completely overwhelmed that over 90% of the contents that we have chosen to be the starting grid for the service have been watched within, I think, like 6 days, which is crazy because you think it will be an 80-20 rule. It's absolutely not. It's really, it's a very short tail because 10,000 or 20 or 30,000 movies, like in some cases we see over the world, is not as huge as the music industry with millions, but it's all being watched. It's crazy, really.
I think, we always look for new breakthroughs, new innovation, new ways of, new models that work. So given all the competition and all the services and everything around us, to come across yet another service that does well is interesting, is exciting. I think if you compare it to the television world, there's been so many talent shows that have been on air for over 10 years, and no one thought there's room for any new show, and suddenly a show like The Voice came from left field with a few twists and smart that became a whole new phenomena. So there's always room for innovation and something new that works. But the question for you is that how you're going to take it forward. It's still very early, so still hard to call it a success, even though the signs are promising. But how are you going to keep the momentum, make it successful in Germany, and do you have any plans to take it outside of Germany?
I guess that the most important thing with regards to the momentum is to understand what the usage behavior is, what the people want, and to deliver more of what they want. And the great chance that we have in a nonlinear situation is that we can gain so much business intelligence compared to any other linear situation that is extremely powerful to manage the content and to increase the content base in a very relevant way to the end user. So that's the first thing. With regards to the rollout, you know, of course, there's no official statement. I could never make any statement because I'm not the only one being part of this discussion, but at the same time, we are a group, we are an international company. If something works very well and we can make it a sustainable business, is absolutely no, we couldn't even think of just keeping it contained in one country.
Okay, so here's is a bigger picture question, taking you outside of your service and just using your experience and view. In looking around us, the two most exciting technological changes are obviously the mobile devices, the smartphones, the tablets on one end, and on the other hand, you have the smart televisions, the smart TVs that are now launching into the world, where most of these devices are internet-enabled, already connected, and will be a different universe once this is a large installed base. In the previous panel, we talked about how smart TV, many people believe that smart TV will become the new center of gravity in the tech universe, and that at CES, most of the exciting developments came from smart TV and not from phone. So if, as a content provider, if you have to take a bet on which will be the winning platform for distribution, will it be the smartphones or the smart TV? Which one would you believe is the right way to deliver content?
That's an interesting question, because if the smart phones become bigger and bigger, they may like in some cases from Korea, they may even turn up to be a TV one day in your hand. I don't know, but generally speaking, I would say that the TV is going to be the strongest for the moment. The learning of the last 10 days is absolutely enormous. We have 2/3 of the usage on smart TVs and on tablets. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the way that it's just going to reconfirm itself all the time.
Okay, but these are two different platforms for that matter.
Yes.
The one experience is lean back in the most comfortable room in the house, the best, largest screen in the house. Another one is more about mobility. So are you saying now that you can't tell it's about the same, or?
No, I would say that the tablet is probably also not to be underestimated as mobility inside your home. Because that's probably the second screen, the third screen in your home where your kids watch, or something, like some of your friends or whoever in the room of, like you take more rooms and then you just use a tablet. That's very common these days. But generally speaking, I would say that, yeah, the most dominant screen in the end inside your household is definitely the TV. That's for sure.
Okay, another big picture question to you is in looking at where the tech world, the distribution world is heading, the elephant in the room is by far YouTube. When you look at the YouTube ecosystem with 800 million users, with about 4 billion views being watched every day, with 72 hours of content being uploaded every minute. This is a monster. Now, not only it's a monster that is being driven by one of the biggest platforms in the world in terms of capacity and sales force, being Google, with 12,000 salespeople driving advertising and revenue to the platform. So many people call YouTube as effectively the largest cable platform in the world. And very soon they will offer, or it's expected that they will offer subscription services as well. Content is already curated. Professional artists are joining the platform. YouTube is driving professional channels that are being produced especially for the platform with customized product for them. So this is a serious player. And also OTT, effectively, also available on Smart TV, also available on Apple TV. How services like you, don't talk right now about whichever minute, just kind of think about it big picture, how the smaller services will be able to cope with the velocity and that tidal wave of the way YouTube is moving.
I guess, to be quite honest, we wouldn't, because we are part of a group that is extremely, that has all the expertise with regards to subscription, and we strongly believe when it comes to payments and when it comes to subscription, to customer bases, to retention, churn, acquisition costs, and all this kind of thing, that this is really a complete different business model. That is our inner belief from within the group, and it goes right into our company, even though we are small. But this kind of expertise, we are extremely grateful to have a shareholder like that can push us with all the, with all means necessary to drive this kind of business. I am completely in agreement with you that these are elephants and huge companies, very, very successful with eyeballs and advertising revenues. But yet it remains to be seen who is really, who is going to lead the game in the subscription area, and where it comes to huge customer bases, where people are loyal and stay to the service. And I think Vivendi is not such a bad company with regards to that. And we believe that 10 to 15 million customers in World of Warcraft and other services, you name them, that's not so bad to go into this kind of battle.
Okay, and I think we have a question. Time for one more question. Taking another page from YouTube, what is interesting is that people are trying to move away from having to make a decision every 2 minutes, what to watch, and soon there will be the experience will be more similar to using or sharing playlists, where someone curates and creates basically a list or a pre-edited sequence of what you want to watch based on your preferences. And the question is, do you see this as something that comes to your service as well, where people will be able to select basically pre-edited but personalized choice with a bit of a sequence, rather than having to pre-select every product they watch? Or it will remain highly segmentalized in that sense, and people will have to make a decision every time they want to watch another episode, another movie, another thing on your service?
I think that ultimately the scenario is going to come exactly as you said. We will probably personalize to the max and be proactive instead of asking the customer to be proactive all the time. And I think with regards to this kind of, let's say, mashup of the product or integration of external sources into the product, the big players that you were discussing, that you were mentioning before, Facebook, YouTube, and all these players, Apple and others, that, the model that we have built is built in a way that we are very, very agnostic, or let's say we are very motivated to integrate their model into ours, and I think this could be a very good partnership, so we are very open with regards to that. And Facebook is the beginning. We will see what will come next.
Great. Well, good luck. Hope it goes well.
Thank you very much.
And keep us posted.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Thank you.